Get ready. Get set. It's time for the basement view. Well. Good evening. Wow. Whew. It's Friday. Thank God. Man. It is Friday, January 31st. And the week ain't over yet. Man. How's everything going? I'm glad to be here. Glad to be relatively healthy. Glad to be relatively happy. This is the basement view. If you do me a favor, or would like to do me a favor, subscribe and hit that thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing? Man, I gotta tell you, girl, it's been one hell of a week, and the week ain't over. Man, it's been like 100% jacked up. Okay, this dude is doing jacked up 100 miles an hour. Okay, man. Let's see. Can we highlight a few? Okay, earlier in the week, the man sent out an order. Yeah, he doing the most, for sure. Early in the week, late last week, was the executive order to cut out funding for stuff. And almost destroyed the country all at once. Hey, James, what's up? Now, I don't know if most of y'all know it, but he fired the heads of the aviation safety committees. So there's nobody there. There is nobody in the leadership role at the FAA. He fired all of the FBI lawyers that worked on his case. Today, he threatened all of the investigators, about 20 of them, and threatened them, told them to retire by today or be fired. Let's see. Offered every government employee a retirement severance. And the list goes on. Oh, let's not forget, today announcing tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada. Talk about doing the most. So we're gonna look at a few of those things tonight. We're gonna look at the new head of the DOD. What a joke there. We're gonna get into it. Man, and the week ain't over. So I hope you all are doing good. Don't forget dwarfism. I didn't see that one. I know they are canceling all of the DEI. They actually sent out a memo today saying in various agencies that they're not going to do any other celebrations of things like MLK Day, Black History Month, Pride Month. No more celebrating that in the government. Oh, dwarfism was the cause of the crash? Well, when I tuned in, the man was lying so fast I couldn't keep up. You know, I wish I had grabbed that clip, because the first thing out of his mouth, literally the first thing out of his mouth was, "We don't know what caused the crash." And segued right into, "It's Obama's fault, Biden's fault, and DEI." Wait a minute. If you don't know what the cause of the crash is, how do you go straight into it's Obama's fault and Biden's fault and DEI? It's too many of everything except white men. If it was more white men, none of this would have happened. Okay. All right, gotcha. So it's 100 miles an hour. It's bullshit at 100 miles an hour. That's what you're seeing. So we gonna literally get into that too. I feel bad for those people in the crash. That's a terrible situation. Right, James, absolutely right. Project 2025. Don't be surprised, be prepared. And you actually said the thing I said to a young lady I met at the doctor this week. I met a young lady, and wonderful, wonderful person, at her wit's end about this guy and his antics. And I mean to tell you, you know, she was pretty fired up about this guy, and with good reason, you know. And she'd had shared some experiences with MAGA, and, you know, all I can say is it's time to get mad, you know. We spend too much time trying not to be mad. We are a passive, let's not fight about it kind of side. What's that? He said America will understand the increases about to take place. Now, you just hit that right on the head. Now, he introduces tariffs, and he's been told that it's going to increase the price of everything after he campaigned on lowering prices, and came out today, wasn't it, and said Americans will understand the price increases. Well, I guarantee you, I bet you, MAGA will accept that. I bet you MAGA will accept that. Of course they will. They will accept anything he says. I've already seen the MAGA influencers out on social media excusing higher prices coming, giving an excuse why it's okay if some prices go up. Now, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways. You can't spend the last 2 years bitching about the prices and now give excuses for why it's okay if they go up from here. They're already high. They haven't come down any. So they're just making excuses. So he announced the tariffs, right? Now, today, I had the good fortune to listen to one of the members of parliament from Canada. A bunch of members in parliament got together and they made an appeal to the Canadian people. I'm going to play that right now. This is one of the members of parliament's answer to Donald Trump.
We are here this morning, my friends, as an unlikely group with leaders from across the political spectrum who've come together with cultural leaders, artists, academics, athletes, labor activists, and Indigenous militant activists. We represent the incredible regions of our beautiful country, and we are here for one reason. Our nation, our beloved Canada, is under threat. It is an economic threat, but it's also a threat to our values of decency and inclusion. It's a threat to our sovereignty and our very future as a nation. The threat comes, of course, from the President of the United States, a convicted felon and known predator. He's threatening massive tariffs to try and break us as a people. But the threat is also being driven by the hate algorithms of the oligarchs like Elon Musk. And there is the threat from people in our own country who would sell out our birthright to appease the gangster class from Mar-a-Lago. That is not going to happen. This morning, we launched the Pledge for Canada. We have signatories from across the cultural and political spectrum. We are asking Canadians to join and sign on today. It's a plan of resistance supporting a vision of our nation and what it should be and what it is that will not be traded away by appeasement. And it's a pledge for ordinary Canadians to hold their elected representatives to account, to defend our values that we hold dear. I've been honored to be part of this team. It started out as a small group, reaching out to other Canadian voices to try and find a way to come together in this age of Trump. And what we learned very quickly is that Canadians are proud and fiercely determined. We love our country and we will stand up for it. And what we are calling for today is an all-of-Canada approach in dealing with Trump. It's about fighting to protect all of our regions and our jobs, our linguistic, cultural, and Indigenous rights. We will not give up our belief in inclusive democracy, equity, and human rights. We need to combat the foreign interference from both the public and private actors and the manipulations of the digital platforms and defend our people against the rule of the oligarchs. We must give priority at this time to protecting our environment, to maintain control of our water, and staying focused on fighting the climate crisis. And it's becoming very clear that to build resiliency for Canada in this increasingly turbulent world, it means actually lessening our dependency on our southern neighbour.
Hear, hear.
To strengthen our collective tools and institutions to build the Canada that we want, not the world that Trump is trying to create. And that means reaching out to democratic allies around the world who are determined to protect democracy from the likes of Trump and Putin. And we cannot turn away our historic role of being a humanitarian friend for those suffering in this world. Our borders must continue to welcome and protect those seeking and deserving shelter in our lands. Okay, so what does a pledge mean? Well, today is the beginning of a grassroots resistance. We're asking people from across Canada to sign their names, to join us so we can start to build this movement. This is going to be the first stage of a much broader-based resistance to defend the values of our beloved country and to respect the sacrifices of Canadians who came before us and gave their all so that other nations might live in peace. We will not squander their legacy. We are Canada, and our message to Donald Trump is we will not bend or break no matter what happens. We pledge to be there for Canada.
Well, I guess he told us, huh? You know, this guy's got us on a collision course with the world. Okay? This guy has put us on a collision course with the world. Now, if those tariffs take place tomorrow, I'm sure there will be retaliation. Supposed to be 25% on Canada, 25% on Mexico, and 10% on China. Well, we get a lot of stuff from Canada that is needed dearly. One of the main things, and I'm just going to point this one out. Chlorine. A huge supply of our chlorine comes from Canada. Now, we use chlorine in everything. Okay? So, you remember back during COVID when there was this one thing that was really, really hard to find? Clorox and wipes. Guess what? Chlorine. Okay? That's just one item. So, you all might want to think about what y'all need today and run out and get it right quick. Stock up on some stuff. Man, golly, I was going to put up some pics of the, I can still do that. Hey, I got the old nifty computer right here. I can still do that. I was going to put up some pics of some survival meals. I had one just the other day. I bought some back in, I think it was 2002 or 2003, maybe 2005. Okay. And I cracked one open yesterday. It was spaghetti and meat sauce. And by golly, it was delicious. And I took some pictures. Oh, I took a picture. And I was going to show it. But I forgot to load it. Maybe next time. But it was delicious. And I'm like, man, I bought that back around 2005 or something. And today, yesterday, I enjoyed it. Again, if you can, hit that thumbs up for me. Ring that bell. That bell thing will let you know when I'm coming on the air. And get that algorithm going. But to get back to this guy, he has us on a collision course with disaster. And it's about to get really bad. I gotta say, one other item that popped up on the radar is Mark Zuckerberg announced some kind of partnership with the Trump administration. Now, understand something. You have Jeff Bezos, who purchased the Washington Post. I really used to like the Washington Post, but there are a lot of writers leaving and editors leaving because Jeff Bezos bought it. And he has already put his thumb on the editing department. All right? Elon Musk with X. Elon Musk has also been in talks to buy MSNBC. You got Fox News. Okay? Again, Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook and Instagram and Threads, which is Instagram's version of X. Sounds like and looks like they're trying to take over the information. They're trying to take over the information because guess what? If you control the information, if the only story being told is the one you telling, guess what? You got a real dumb audience. All right? The various government agencies have announced they're not releasing any reports. Today, the Department of Agriculture announced that they're not releasing any climate change information. What does that tell you? It's controlling the information. So, I don't know. Somebody let me know. Did this thing just buffer? Curious. Let's see. Anyway, let's find out. All right, it didn't. Good. Cool. I just saw something look like it buffered. Anyway, so yeah, they're trying to control the information. And that's scary because they already are buying up everything else. I think we're about to get a really big squeeze because if they control the information, they're buying up land, they're buying up residential houses, they're buying up apartments, they're buying up farms, trailer parks, literally buying up everything. I think we're about to get the squeeze. We better be prepared. You loaded up on albacore tuna from Walmart. Hey, you know what? Albacore is the most costly tuna. Yeah. I tell you what, that's a smart move if that's what you like. That is a smart move. I would advise go out and stock up on some stuff. This is about to get, scary, And to the young lady I met at the doctor's office, if you happen to watch this, look, it's not a time to be scared. It's a time to be upset. It's a time to get mad and take care of yourself. It is a time to make good decisions, wise decisions. I would literally, hey, one of the best ways, hey, stop spending your money. Stop spending your money. Just hold on to your cash because two things are very real possibilities. One is they run up the price of everything. You say they didn't hide anything. They told us during the campaign. Absolutely, James. Absolutely. They told us straight to our face. Elon Musk literally said, it's going to be rough on you motherfuckers. He literally said it. And unfortunately, a whole lot of people wasn't listening. So us right here, hey, and I know a couple of y'all are some darn good penny pinchers. I know that. Keep pinching. Keep pinching them pennies. Start holding your cash. One thing you might do is listen to the investment portion of this thing, because one thing you're going to want to do anytime in your life, and even if not for you, direct some of the young people you know to watch these episodes so they can get this information about investing. While you might be in your upper age and you're not interested, for the younger folks out there, hip them to it. If you know somebody young, have them watch this so they can learn about making some money. Because the tips I'm giving is about creating income that will in turn regenerate itself. It will make its own money. Okay? That's what I've been trying to talk about. Is creating a stream of income that is protected, and Wall Street gonna be Wall Street. They gonna protect the money. The money gonna always be on Wall Street. So, it would probably do you good to have a look at what I'm talking about. Watch some CNBC, because you want to know what's coming out of Washington, D.C. And that's the reason I look at CNBC. There's other shows or networks like that, but CNBC, for me, has been a good one as far as clearly showing what's coming out of Washington, D.C., and what's coming out of Wall Street. And if you listen a few minutes a day, you'll start to pick up the language. Okay? All right. Gonna move on. One other thing I want to look at is the comparison to a couple of secretaries of defense. Rachel Maddow was on the other day, and she made a very good comparison. And I thought, this needs to be shared. So let's check out this comparison, and let's look at our new DOD. Let's have a look.
Okay, so he played rugby and he ran track at West Point. He also did 2 master's degrees and got an MBA on top of that. Rifle platoon leader, scout platoon leader, then company executive officer, battalion commander, and then brigade commander in the 82nd Airborne. He helped lead the initial invasion of Baghdad in March 2003. He rolled his mechanized division straight from the Kuwait border overland right into the center of Baghdad, won a Silver Star for his valor in that operation. Then to Afghanistan, where he led the 10th Mountain Division. Then he became chief of staff at CENTCOM. Then he was the top U.S. commander in the Iraq War, in the whole war. He was actually the one who wound down U.S. forces at the end of the Iraq War. He was then named Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army. Then he went back to CENTCOM, this time as commander of CENTCOM. Then he built and led the force that waged the war against ISIS. And then, and only then, was he considered for the really big job, Secretary of Defense. And that is the man who just left office as Secretary of Defense. The man who just arrived to take his job, he was a platoon leader in the National Guard. But now he, too, is Secretary of Defense. Both of them, obviously, honorable records of service. Not equivalent, though, I think you'd say, in terms of demonstrated leadership, experience, complex organizational management experience in particular. I mean, 4-star General Lloyd Austin had led, like, a whole war or 2. And he had been chief of staff and then commander at CENTCOM just before being named as defense secretary. CENTCOM is the part of the U.S. military that has as its area of responsibility the Middle East and Central Asia and South Asia. That was what he was in charge of. I mean, that was his experience heading in to become defense secretary. That's who has just left as defense secretary. The guy who has just arrived, well, just before he was named as defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, he led 1/3 of the famous Curvy Couch on the Fox and Friends Fox News Channel weekend show. I have to say, it may be that he led 1/4 of the couch, not 1/3. I'm not totally sure how many hosts they have, but we could only find these pictures of him sharing with 2, so maybe he held down 1/3. That said, prior to his time at the Fox News Channel, Mr. Hegseth also ran into the ground 2 small right-wing veterans groups, amid allegations, which he denies, of wild financial mismanagement, nepotism, sexual harassment, public drunkenness, and even drinking on the job. For one of those organizations, an independent forensic accountant found evidence of gross financial mismanagement while Pete Hegseth was administering that organization. And so then they made him Secretary of Defense. Two guys, same job. And, you know, maybe he got the job based on merit and demonstrated capability. Or maybe it was some other factor. I don't know. Your call.
Well, check that out. Hey, I'm going to take a brief pause. I got to do a little maintenance thing. I am going to change screens here and put this up. Be back in 1 second. Okay. Well, that was weird. Had a power issue and had to deal with it. So, fortunately, I was able to do that pretty quick, I think. So, let's see. Where was I? That was scary. Anyway, that is our new Secretary of Defense. Now, somebody asked me if the other cabinet members was going to be confirmed. I said, yeah, I think they're going to get confirmed. Why wouldn't I think that? Because if this guy could get confirmed, why wouldn't all the rest of them be confirmed? You put a guy in charge of our entire Defense Department whose sole experience was being a platoon leader. His sole experience was being a platoon leader. That is crazy. And this guy is going to be running our entire defense. Have you all any opinions of that? What do you think? Tulsi Gabbard has no experience in intelligence, and he wants her to run National Intelligence Agency. He looks like DEI. That's a hell of a DEI hire, ain't it? The standards being lowered, that is, it don't get any lower. I mean, the standards just can't get any lower. You put a platoon leader in charge of the entire military. A guy who just sat on a couch at Fox News. Man, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. I don't know where we're going. I just don't know. It's getting ugly. Yeah, James, that is a fact. We are screwed. Also, from here on out, if nothing else, this is something I want to get you really used to. When you are hearing something, please, please, please pay attention carefully to what it is you're hearing. Okay? Hey, Charles, it is a crazy situation. But what I'm about to say, this is so important that it's just nothing more important. From this point on, when you are hearing someone talking to you, or you're hearing a story, a news report, anything, listen carefully. And if you have to, find a way to hear it a second or third time. Because when you hear someone and you comprehend it, you should be able to explain it to somebody else. Okay? When you hear something and you really did listen, you should be able to explain it to someone else. So from now on, when you are listening, pay a close attention to every word that's said. And if you don't completely understand it, do whatever you need to do to either hear it again, have the person say it again, find a clip of it, then listen to it again, just to get a complete comprehension of what was said. Because I heard a clip yesterday, and this is an illustration of how our media fails us, okay? Our media fails us miserably. I'm going to play this clip, and this is going to illustrate how our media fails us. Now, when I play this clip, I want you all to tell me what's wrong. Okay? I'm going to play this clip. Listen very carefully. It's a normal clip. Tell me what's wrong with this clip. It's not very long. Listen, pay attention.
I mentioned DCA and lawmakers here because this is a place that's heavily trafficked by lawmakers, but it's actually a very small airport when you all things considered. And lawmakers have been raising concerns for a while now about how congested this airport is, how many flights arrive and take off from DCA. This has been a big concern for local Senator Tim Kaine, who represents Virginia. We are at DCA, but this is technically based in the state of Virginia. He's talked about this for a while. I cover Congress, and there is a lot for Congress to do in terms of oversight, especially of the FAA. And I should note that the FAA does not currently have an administrator, doesn't have anybody nominated to that post. That post is usually a 5-year term, and the person who held it just recently resigned early. It's meant to be a 5-year post so that it extends beyond a presidency, so that it's not a political position. So we're waiting to see if an acting administrator is appointed there and kind of what that looks like. But there are a lot of questions from lawmakers who know this area well and who have been raising concerns about the flight patterns. But I should note, too, that the biggest takeaway when I was here at this press conference, I asked, should Americans be concerned about their safety on these flights? And officials say they have no reason to believe otherwise.
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Somebody. As short as you can. Tell me if you saw anything or if you heard anything wrong in that clip. You know, if you heard anything, just say, I saw it, I heard it, or something. You know. I'm going to tell you what it was, and then I'm going to play it again. And when I tell you what it was, no one in charge at the FAA. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. There's a few things that's in that clip that's interesting. That is one of them. And hey, Trump loves to say what happened on somebody else's watch. Guess what? This was on his watch, okay? Nobody's telling him that. Nobody's saying this is on your watch, sir. You know? Anyway, 5-year term. I'm going to tell you, though, these are good guesses. But here's what's wrong with that clip. In the beginning of the clip, she talks about how many of the lawmakers that are concerned about the number of flights in and out of that airport. Okay? She mentions how small the airport is. She mentions Tim Kaine out of Virginia has voiced his concerns for a long time. The airport is technically in Virginia. She mentions all of the concern and all of the lawmakers and the power that Congress has to make changes. Okay? She mentioned all of that. And at the very end, the very last thing she said was, at the press conference, she asked if the general public should be concerned. And their reply was, they don't see any reason to think otherwise. Did you get that? Should the public be concerned? I don't have any reason to think otherwise. In other words, hell yes, the public should be concerned. Now, my question is this. If I'm the reporter and I'm about to do this segment, how come I wouldn't lead with, I just came from a press conference in which I asked if the public should be concerned about flying into this airport? And they told me yes. And after many Congress people has concerns about this airport, and Congress hasn't done anything, and Tim Kaine has been concerned for a long time. He's been raising concerns forever. They just told me we should be concerned about flying into this airport. But that's not what she did, is it? She gave us all of that build up, and at the very last sentence, after she's probably lost a bunch of people's attention, because that's how they do. They give you all of this build up first, and you never get to the important part. The important part out of that whole speech is the general public should be scared to death of coming into this airport. That's our media. And you have to listen to what's being said. You got to critically listen, because they will run it right by you. If congressmen have been raising concerns for years about the congestion, the number of flights in this tiny airport, why ain't nobody telling us, hey, y'all better be careful about flying into this airport? Maybe we shouldn't fly into that airport at night. Hey, cut down some of the night flights into it. You know. That's my point, though. My point is, listen. Critically listen. Okay? To what's being said. I mean, scrutinize the entirety of what you hear and play it over and over in your head until you comprehend what was said. You say, Ronnie, a lot can happen with congestion in the open airport. Terrorists can easily go undetected. That's true. That's true. And that's how a lot of terrorists get in. And that's how so many other things happen. You know, a congested airport, when you know this is an issue, tell us that first. Tell us that. That's my point. My point is, our media has failed us because they should be literally reporting to make us concerned. You know, don't spend 5 minutes telling me who else is concerned and then give me 1 second saying, oh, and by the way, you should be too. Yeah. Life as we once knew it would never be the same. You ain't lying there, brother. This about to be fucked up. Oh, man. But I'm sorry. That's, I just had to get that out there. And somebody reminded me today, too, that that's the lesson for the day. You know, when somebody's saying something to you, listen. And I mean listen good. Because your life could depend on it. Okay? Day 12. Yeah. Hey, this week ain't over yet. You know, this week ain't over yet. Man, shit. This is crazy. Oh wow, I did it again. I'm sorry. I got on my soapbox again. I meant to go into the investment thing again, but I ended up on that damn soapbox because I'm sorry, but that is so important. It is so important. So often do we hear and not hear. Somebody's telling you something and you're multitasking. So you speed listen, you know? I'm speed listening. Yeah, I caught most of that. But you missed a detail that could kill your ass. Okay? When she made that report, that little bit at the end caught me. It was like kink. I was like, wait a minute. What did she just say? And I literally had to go and find a way to hear it again. Okay? Because I was like, did she just say what I thought she said? Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it, Ronnie. So, we got to listen. And like James said earlier, they told us. And a lot of us wasn't listening. You know? So, get ready for some sticker shock. I hope you ain't about to buy a car. I hope you ain't about to buy no high dollar items, because they're going to be even higher. So, anyway, tell you what, if I go a little long, so be it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the investment side of this thing and pull up that screen right quick, because I said I was going to buy some stock today just to show that purchase. And I wanted to make sure I did this before or on the 1st, and the 1st is tomorrow. So I'm going to pull that up right quick. I better not tear up another car. I heard that. You're killing me. Okay, check this out. All right. Last week, not last week, but Wednesday, I pulled up and compared these two stocks. It was this one that I chose as the one most likely to invest in. Okay? Now, I told you that the reason I was going to invest in this stock, or this was the most likely candidate, is because, by the way, this is how the stock did over one day. When it's in the red, it means the stock started down and it finished down over here somewhere. Okay. Right here, I'll blow that up a little bit. Right here, you can change what the stock looked like over a week, a month. Let's do that. So, see how it turned green? It's gone up over the last month. And you can do 3 months, year to date, 5 years, so and so. Okay. So, as you can see, I have $150. That's one of the reasons I was looking at stocks that were below $10. You know? That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I like this one, the PE ratio, 10, nice and low. The PE ratio tells you how many times earnings this stock is priced at. Okay. Now, again, I also said I wasn't going to get into market cap. This is considered a mid cap. There's small cap, mid cap, and large cap. Small cap, under 2 billion. Mid cap, between 2 billion and 10 billion. Large cap, over 10 billion. Okay. What market cap means is the number of outstanding shares divided by the price. You know, it tells you how big the company is. Okay. So, 14% dividend yield. That I like. I look at the analyst ratings. The analysts like the stock. They rated a buy. The earnings, if you look at this, it looks like they went down. And they did. The earnings went down because of the high interest rates. Okay? Stocks that are in the mortgage business, like this one, understand it invests in residential mortgage pass-through securities. When you're involved in mortgages, your earnings go down when the interest rates are high. Okay. Now, let's look at this. Here we go. That one's going to be kind of long. I was looking for a shorter article, but they don't have one here. What that represents, I looked it up. If you want to know what this 14% represents, this 14% dividend yield represents 12 cents. They pay 12 cents per month for each share of stock you own. Okay? If you have one share of this stock, they will pay you 12 cents at the end of the month just for holding that stock, just for having it. Okay? So, this is an order ticket over here. That's what this is. Okay? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to place an order. This is a buy order in dollars in the amount, let's say 100. Now this is an odd order ticket. Typically, let me do it this way. Buy in shares. Bam. Let's do that. See, sometimes you can according to your money, you can buy according to how much money you got or a definite number of shares. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a definite number of shares. Okay? So, I am going to buy, this says a limit. I'm not going to use a limit type. I'm going to, they don't have a market. Where's the market? Nope. They only have limits. All right. Anyway. Well, they got the market price anyway. I want to get 10 shares. And again, with this particular platform, Robinhood, I'm not familiar with it. I'm fumbling my way through this platform the same way any of you would. So I just put in a buy order in shares. You see 10 shares. Market price $9.93. Estimated cost $99.26. I have $150 available in an individual account. I'm going to review the order. Booyah. It tells you everything that you are about to do. It is telling you that you are placing a limit order that's good for a day. And the limit price is set at 5% above the last traded price. Okay, $9.95 times 2 and blah, 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 gives you your price. Okay, the price will be $10.42. Okay, now, if I place this order, the reason it's doing all of this is because it's at limit. Now, I may wait and not make this purchase because I want to know if it's because it's after market hours. If they making this a limit purchase. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. Before I make this purchase, I want to make sure that's the reason. Because well, I can get the purchase anyway. It's okay. I buy a limit. So it's just going to cost me more. Instead of the $99, it's going to be $104 or something. So let's do the limit, because I want to get these in before the first. And we're going to hit done. Okay, so this should show up as an after hours trade. It's queued. It shows a limit buy that's queued up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh this just to see if it makes the purchase. Let's see. Nope, it's queued. Okay, so this is probably due to the fact that it's after market hours, and I'm not familiar with this particular platform. So we'll come back Monday and we'll check it out and find out how that looks. So bear with me. We'll come back Monday and have a look at it and see what happens. They should execute a order first thing Monday morning, and we'll see. Now, I failed to look at the rules for after hours trading because different platforms do it different ways. I'm completely new to Robinhood. As I've told you, my main account is on Charles Schwab, and I'm used to how that one works. So this one, we'll see. So today, I just placed an order. It's a limit order. You can usually make a market order. A market order is when you decide I'm going to buy it at the price it is being offered on the market. Typically, on a limit order, you actually put in the amount that you want the limit order to be. Like, that stock was $9.90 something. I could have put a limit order in of $9.80. You could put that order in, and if sometimes during the day it got to that 80 cent, it would execute. See, a lot of times you may not want the stock at the price it's being offered right now. You want it at a lower price. You can put in an offer to buy it at a lower price. That's a limit order. Now on this platform, after hours apparently, only a limit order is available. And if you make a limit order after hours, they're going to add 5%. This is something I just found out. But we're only dealing with $100, so okay. My point was I wanted to get an order in for 10 shares of that stock before the 1st, since the 1st is tomorrow and it's on the weekend, because I want to have a full 30 days of having that stock to show you what's going on. Okay, so over the next month, we're going to follow that 10 shares of stock, not shock, but stock. It should show up. It should execute that order first thing Monday morning. Okay, we're going to find out. We'll come back Monday evening and see. Okay, all right. Well, on that note, as always, hey, if you got something, send it to me, and we'll check it out. Hey, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me as usual. It's Friday. I'm going to go chill out. And also, Monday evening, if you noticed when I hit that order thing, a drop-down menu came and it had limit, law, stop, and all this other stuff. We're going to explain those too. Those are other types of orders. And I'm going to explain those. So, on that note, you all have a good one. Enjoy this weekend. And we'll see you next week, Monday at 7. All right? Take it easy.